This is Andy Parra for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. I'm delighted to be joined by Joe Gallagher. Joe, how you doing?
Not so bad, Andy. Good to see you again, my friend.
You too, Joe. You too. It's here. It's finally here. Anthony Crolla's last dance. How does it feel to have it formally announced?
Yeah, it's a bit emotional, really, knowing that this is his first fight announcement, his last one, and all the good nights that people have been talking about in the press are there and everything else. And said it to Anthony in the gym the other day. I said, Joe, when you watch Rocky 3 and you see Rocky convinced Mickey to do one more against Mr. T, and we do the public workouts and we have all the training and the circus around it. I said, should we do one of them at the Trafford Centre? And he goes, oh no, Joe, we can't. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's got to be an emotional night, like they've said. And but first and foremost, it's a fight, and we're involved in a fight, and it's a fight that we want to win. And as you heard Anthony say, there's people out there with the hard-earned money, going to pay good money to come and watch this show. And yeah, very much like Derek Chisora said the other day, Anthony Crolla's the name that everyone's coming to watch on this show.
I mean, what is your thoughts on that with regards to Anthony not being billed as the headline event? Do you see him still going out last and being the last one out?
Yeah, I think Eddie alluded it to in the presser that Anthony will be the last one on, because if they put Anthony on beforehand, I think everyone will leave and go on the lash, and Katie will be boxing in front of an empty hall. So I do think that's why Anthony will be on last. I think it's a bit unfair to say that he's not the headline act. I'd much rather say, like Derek said, he's co-headline act, because that's what everyone's tuning in to see, and that's what everyone's coming out to see. And yeah, that's it. I think he's more a co-feature.
We've briefly touched on it in the past, both in interviews and off interviews, but what are you looking at with regards to an opponent? Have you had any movement on it?
Opponent-wise, no. I think Anthony's had a few sent over to him that we're not interested in at all, and we'll sit down this week and we'll look at them, and we'll make the right decision which suits us best for Anthony for this fight. I know there's huge demands out there for different fights. The Linares 3 I've heard, and all different fights like that, but no, it won't be Linares 3, I'll tell you that much. Having him twice was bad enough. I don't think there's no need for a third dose of him, is there? So yeah, no, like I say, we'll work on an opponent and see which will be right. Like I say, it'll be last on, but as you say, it's not the headline act. So Katie is, and she's in a world title fight. So yeah, that's it.
There were some rumours floating around on social media yesterday, Tommy Coyle's name.
No. They need to get that addressed straight away. It won't be Tommy Coyle. Never will be Tommy Coyle. I feel if Tommy Coyle wanted his last payday, I think he's missed it, really. He should have got on the Lewis Ritson bill up in Newcastle in October. I think that's a great opportunity for him, just down the road from where he's from in Hull. But it won't be Anthony Crolla, and me and Anthony are dead solid on that. There's no chance it'll be Tommy Coyle.
Just to quickly move through this card, we have briefly touched on Katie Taylor, who stood next to you. What are your thoughts on her fight with Leonardo too? I know you'd have seen Katie fight Delphine Pursuit out in America when on the Anthony Joshua Ruiz undercard, obviously with Callum Smith being on there also.
Yeah, no, it was a great fight, wasn't it? I watched it back, and I know I'm within earshot of her at the moment. Don't fancy a right hand or a left uppercut from her. But listen, it was a very close fight, a tough fight to score. I'm more sure we side, and more sure we go. I may have gone the draw, and more should we give it Parsons by one. But like you say, there's more people out there. I know Carl Frampton was quite vocal saying that he didn't win, but I think it also gives fighters like Katie, who are on their way up, who are winning fights, winning titles, just that little jolt to, if there was a complacency setting in, for her to up a game even more. And I think that's why we'll see an even better Katie Taylor on November the 2nd.
Just going to see Joshua Boat step up as well, facing Blake Caparello. Your thoughts on that one, Joe?
Yeah, Joshua Boat. I like his nickname, his moniker, Just Business, JB. Listen, solid kid, head on his shoulders. Good fight against Blake Caparello, good opponent. And like I say, he's vacated the British. Shame, because I'd like to have seen him and Anthony Yarde have that fight. But he's moved up. Surprised it's a world title. Is it an eliminator or final eliminator? Eliminator. So yeah, it's opening the doors that if Bivol decides to move down, he'll be in a position to challenge for a vacant belt. And Eddie's doing what Eddie always does, takes fighters around the country, getting the fans used to him and building up his profile. So he's a good kid, he's doing well, and he's beating what's being put before him.
Obviously you manage and train Callum Johnson. Any thoughts with regards to if a bout could be made between Callum and Joshua Boat?
100%, no problem. I've said it all along, even when he was British champion, or Callum was, and we were asked to vacate it so Josh could fight it, so we'd have a big fight in New York, and against Sean Mannion, so Callum had that, but we've got no problem with that. Callum Johnson was offered the Bivol world title fight just recently, but he had to turn it down due to him just having a minor shoulder injury. But when he's back, we have no hesitation, we're taking that fight, no problem whatsoever.
What are the plans with Callum? I know he's got that ambition to have another crack at a world title after his disappointing defeat to Artur Beterbiev. What have you spoken to him about?
Yeah, he wants to get back in and he wants another world title shot. There was talk of him fighting Joe Smith Jr. We'll see when we come back where he is, but like I say, the winner of the unification fight, I know he's desperate to have another rematch with Beterbiev. That shows how much he feels in there, and he's come away from it all the time going, Joe, he wasn't that strong. I had him, I was hurting him with body shots, and but he's also got his respect now, but I think we'd love that rematch, and I think we could pull off that huge win.
Callum Smith, Joe, what is the latest with Callum, the world number 1 super middleweight?
Yeah, Callum is, listen, he was given options on the table a couple of weeks ago, told to go away and decide what he wants to do, and I think there'll be an announcement shortly about it, and I spoke to him this morning. He's in a good place, he's doing his S&C work, and there'll be an announcement very shortly on who he's fighting and where he's fighting.
Interviewed Eddie before a press conference, and he mentioned that he's going to be working with him in the next fight. Will it be Eddie? Will it be Matt True?
Well, if that's what Eddie's saying, then that's what it's going to be. So I've not got to downplay it. I think the appeal of fighting at Anfield that's been put on the table before him is used to turn down. It hasn't happened before, and for Callum to be the first to be there at Anfield, it'll be huge for him, and I'm sure his brothers will want to be on it. I think Price will want to be on it, Tasha will want to be on it, Butler will want to be on it, and I think it should be a great night of Liverpool getting the right opponent for that event now. That'll be the next step.
With that in mind, obviously when I did come up to the gym to interview yourselves and the rest of the camp, you said that the original offer wasn't good enough from Eddie. Did he come back with a renewed offer for you guys? Well,
listen, that'll be for an interview down the line to talk about that.
That's all good, Joe. I'm sure I'll come up as soon as that is announced. Moving on from this, onto the past weekend, Tyson Fury, Fury-Wallin. Did you catch a fight, Joe?
Yeah, I did. I watched it the next morning. Yeah, listen, it was a fair play to Tyson Fury. People don't understand when they see cuts. Now, usually referees let fights go when the cut's under the eye. Usually when it's over the eye and it's impairing the vision. I feel if that was in a British ring, it would have been stopped. I feel in Vegas, if Fury-Wallin had that injury, it would have been stopped. Well, that's what you get sometimes when you're the A side. You get them little touches and them little rubs of the green. And Tyson Fury did very well in the fact that he had to deal with that. Obviously, he wants to do a better performance. He wants to take more chances, but he knows one clean shot, worsening it more, was always in the back of his mind. I think the cut man did a fantastic job, and I think, like you say, Ben Davidson in them situations, he did what he had to do as well to change from plan A, plan B, and have that panic set in and people ticking in. You've got to remember, Tyson Fury finished very well down the straight, landed good body shots, had Wallin in trouble a couple of times, and there's a lot of criticism, and sometimes you can't get up for the fights like a Wilder like you should do, and maybe they may have took the eye off the ball. I'm not saying they did, but them little things. But it was a fight, and at the end of the day, you go into the ring to come out with a W any which way you can, and Tyson did that.
Moving away from Fury-Wallin, onto yourself, Joe. This Sunday, you got your own card again. Just talking about the card as we prepare for that bout, the bouts.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. It's a step up from my first show, which was on Father's Day with Stephen Smith headlining. This time now we have Paul Butler on the verge of another world title shot now. Once that World Boxing Super Series finishes, it's a chance to get him out, keep him active, keep his ranking. Also then we've got Marcus Morrison coming off a fantastic win in Italy, causing the upset, the Italian job, smash and grab. So it's a chance for him to get out there, keep motivated, keep the momentum going. Sam Hyde, we're closing in, trying to get that Riakporhe fight. As you could see on social media, me and Dylan had a little bit of back and forth. We're trying to make that fight. I know the board have made Massey and Riakporhe. From my understanding, I think Massey has an injury at the moment, so we're trying to push to get that. So Sam's staying relevant. And then on the undercard, then we've got 4 good kids. Wickham King, or King Wickham the First, making his professional debut. Exciting amateur talent. Nathan Farrell having his second fight, who did really well in his pro debut in Liverpool. George Brennan having an out and out, and Connor Lynch hoping to make it 5-0. So a good afternoon's worth of boxing. Boxing starts at 2:30, and hopefully it'll be all over by 5 o'clock. So lads and dads and mums, if they fancy a bit of boxing, want to come along, they can do. And it's in Wythenshawe, just beside Manchester Airport. And I'm really glad being from Wythenshawe myself, hence M22 Promotions, the postcode, that bring in professional boxing that people don't get regularly to see. Like to see Marcus and Sky, Paul and Sky, or Box Nation or BT. So it's great that they can come out and see these world-class operators boxing on their own doorstep and take over fights.
How have you found life as a promoter, Joe?
Tough. I haven't got the gift of the gab of Eddie Hearn. I don't have the money of what Sky Sports backing have. But at the end of the day, it's keeping these kids relevant. We can't wait for the big boys to roll into town all the time, and they have to. But I'm enjoying it. I like it, and it's a case of a bit like the academy have set up there, giving back, giving kids an opportunity, and I'm giving these kids an opportunity that in 3 or 4 years they could be headlining in arenas themselves.
Well, Joe Gallagher, I appreciate your time as always,
No problem,
and I will see you on Sunday. Thanks for speaking to myself and Boxing Social.
Cheers, no problem, thanks.